If you're a fan of over-the-top 80s action flicks, then there's a good chance you've at least heard of Kung Fury, a ridiculous, nostalgic joyride packed with absurd stunts, VHS aesthetics, and a time-traveling kung fu cop. The short film, released in 2015, quickly became an internet favorite, and it all started with a trailer that writer-director David Sandberg made with his friends for just $5,000. That little trailer exploded on Kickstarter, pulling in over $600,000 and leading to a 30-minute film shot mostly on green screens in Sandberg's Swedish office. The result? Pure chaotic brilliance. Sandberg starred as the titular Kung Fury, battling Nazis, robots, and dinosaurs. He was joined by the Lonely Island's Jorma Taccone and none other than David Hasselhoff, who showed up in a cameo that felt like the cherry on top of this neon-soaked sundae. Thanks to its spot-on parody of 80s action movies and its total embrace of the absurd, Kung Fury became a cult classic practically overnight. So naturally, the hype around a full-length sequel was real. And back in 2019, fans got some exciting news. Kung Fury 2 was officially happening. The sequel promised a bigger budget, a longer runtime, and a cast that now included Michael Fassbender, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Alexandra Shipp, alongside returning favorites like Sandberg, Taccone, and Hasselhoff. It sounded like everything was finally lining up for this passion project to evolve into something massive. But then, silence. Even though Kung Fury 2 wrapped filming years ago, it still hasn't been released. The reason? Legal issues. According to reports, complications with one of the film's investors pushed the project into post-production limbo. It's the kind of behind-the-scenes nightmare that fans rarely see, but unfortunately happens more than you'd think. So instead of riding a wave of nostalgia and absurd action right into theaters or streaming platforms, Kung Fury 2 got stuck on a shelf. For a long time, there wasn't even a scrap of footage to prove the movie was real, until a mysterious sizzle reel showed up on YouTube. It didn't stay up for long, since it got hit with a copyright strike, but fans who caught it were treated to a wild montage of scenes that definitely delivered on the promise of the original. There was Schwarzenegger playing the President of the United States, naturally sporting a shotgun and chomping on a cigar. Hasselhoff was back, hanging out with puppies, and Fassbender, he looked gloriously ridiculous with a flowing mullet. These weren't just cameos, they looked like real roles with weight, wrapped in the same kind of insanity that made the first film so fun. After the leak, Variety confirmed with Sandberg that the footage was real, but he wasn't exactly thrilled. This was an internal promo video that was never supposed to be seen by the public, he said. The reel included a bunch of plot details and unfinished visual effects, which Sandberg didn't want audiences to see out of context. Still, he acknowledged how much love went into making the sequel and promised he'd keep fighting to get it released. This movie has been held hostage for the past 5 years, he added, but I promise to keep fighting for it and make sure this film gets the chance it truly deserves. And honestly, based on everything we know so far, Kung Fury 2 sounds like it deserves a proper debut. Sandberg clearly had a unique vision from day one, and it looks like he was given the green light to fully unleash that madness with a bigger budget and a dream cast. That kind of creative freedom doesn't come around too often, especially for something this offbeat. Before the sizzle reel leaked, fans did get a little teaser in the form of a set photo Sandberg posted on Twitter. It showed him in costume as Kung Fury, standing next to Leopold Nilsson, who reprises his role as Hackerman from the original. The photo was captioned with a promise that the film would release in 2022, though Sandberg admitted he couldn't give an exact date at the time. He added that there was more to come, giving fans a small but hopeful update. Arnold Schwarzenegger himself even posted about the film on Reddit, confirming that he was filming his scenes in Munich. According to Schwarzenegger, he first saw the original Kung Fury short years ago and was instantly on board with the sequel. While he didn't reveal much about his character, his involvement alone added a whole new level of legitimacy to the project. He also used the opportunity to hype up Sandberg, saying that he was proud of the director for turning his hilarious vision into a reality. For those of you who want to get into the movies, Schwarzenegger said, he's proof that if you have the vision and you work non-stop and keep hustling away, you can do it. Since returning to acting full-time in 2012, Schwarzenegger has leaned into roles that either celebrate or poke fun at his 80s and 90s action movie image. From reprising the T-800 in Terminator Genisys and Dark Fate to appearing in offbeat projects like Killing Gunther, he's shown that he's fully game to riff on his past. So seeing him play a shotgun-toting US president in Kung Fury 2 is about as perfect a fit as you can imagine. There's also a fun theory that his character is a parody of Donald Trump. The two have famously clashed on social media over the years, and the idea of Schwarzenegger playing a caricature of the former president in an 80s-style action film feels very on-brand for Kung Fury's sense of humor. Trump has already inspired movie characters before, like the alternate 1985 version of Biff Tannen in Back to the Future Part 2, so it wouldn't be the first time. All signs point to Kung Fury 2 keeping the same tongue-in-cheek tone as the original. After all, the first movie featured a protagonist who gained supercharged kung fu abilities after being struck by lightning and bitten by a cobra. He then traveled through time to fight a resurrected Adolf Hitler. Subtlety was never part of the appeal. But the big question is whether or not Kung Fury 2 can keep that same energy over a full-length runtime. The original worked so well in part because it was short and punchy, just long enough to deliver the gags without wearing out the joke. A longer film runs the risk of stretching the humor too thin, especially if it leans too hard on the nostalgia without adding something fresh. That being said, Sandberg seems to know exactly what kind of movie he's making. He's not trying to reinvent the wheel or win awards. He just wants to deliver an outrageous, visually wild, and genuinely funny love letter to 80s action excess. And with talents like Fassbender, Taccone, Shipp, and Schwarzenegger on board, the odds are good that he can pull it off. Right now, the only thing standing in the way is the unresolved legal mess. When films get caught in investor disputes, they often sit in limbo for years or, worse, get buried forever. But fans are still holding out hope that Kung Fury 2 will beat the odds and finally make its way to the screen. And that wraps up today's video. If you want to stay in the loop with all the latest movie and series news, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a big thumbs up, because I'll be bringing you more updates on upcoming movies before they even drop, so keep an eye out for that, along with the latest on your other favorite shows and movies. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.